Deconverted Man here. So, the much talked about public policy polling, has done this poll of Republicans, and two channels that I love and enjoy the content of and watch frequently have reported on this, and both of them got it wrong. Perhaps they didn't click on the link, perhaps they just read the headline and went with that, I don't know. What both of them have said is 57% of Republicans are in favor of making Christianity a national religion. What they left out is that only 316 people were polled. Not all Republicans. Just 316 voters, primary voters, from the 20th to the 22nd. That's not across the board. That's not national. That's not like every Republican was polled and we got back that 57% of all of them were in favor of this. No. 316 people were polled. That's very small. So why aren't we reporting this correctly? What you're doing is a half-truth by not telling the full story, and a meaningless statistic because your number doesn't mean anything. 57% of Republicans think X or want X to happen, or even would vote, or even said that they would vote for X. Doesn't mean that that's going to stay consistent when they actually vote that way. It just means on that particular poll, that's what they said. But, yeah, it's an indicator, sure. But it doesn't mean anything. What if you polled 2 people? Well, you can't get 57% out of 2 people. So you would need more than 2 people. Let's just say 10 people. You could get that. So 5.5 people. I don't know how many people you have to get 57%, but at any rate, because I'm bad at math. But my point is, we've got to cite our sources, which they cite in both cases. They cited the article that cites the poll. I would just skip the articles, just cite the poll, because the article doesn't report it correctly either. The article is makes it out seem like we're talking about all the Republicans everywhere. No. We're talking about 316 primary voters, which means 360 people that are ready to go. They want to vote. They're interested in voting. They're right there. They're, waiting in line to vote, waiting for the thing to open or whatever the bleep it is. These are people interested in politics. These are people that care about politics, right? Or these are people with nothing better to do. What wasn't taken into consideration is age, location, gender of these people, just their party. That's it. So there's a lot of information that's left out. This also isn't indicative of what it would be across the board. Is this trend going to continue as we poll more and more Republicans, or are we going to see it taper off at some point? It's 57% now, but let's pull 1,000 people and see what the percentage is then. Let's pull 10,000 or 20,000 people and then see what the percentage is. Because the bigger numbers you have in a poll, the more you can actually say, okay, this is something that matters now. The more polls that you have taken can also be used as compelling evidence for your argument that this is this is a trend that will continue. So, okay, if we took 20 of these polls across the USA and it was 300 people, just rounded down every time, and we pulled 300 people, 20 different times, and every single time it was 57% or somewhere in, so it averages off to, let's say, 55% or something like that. Okay, then that's an indicator that this trend will continue with the next poll. You could make that as a prediction and think, it's probably likely that other Republicans are also going to think this way too. It might not be the case, but we've got good indications that that this will be the case, because this is a trend. You've established it as a very good argument in favor of this being a trend. Human nature is very hard to predict, but nonetheless, polls of that type can be used in an argument to make your side stronger. What should never be used is deceitful tactics to make it seem like you have inflated numbers. If you've ever watched commercials, 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this. I don't care. So you paid 9 out of 10 dentists off. The 10th one said no to your money and wasn't going to take it. A lot of times dentists, will recommend you brushing your teeth, and they'll just recommend whatever one gave them free stuff. Yeah, Crest, sure, they gave me free toothpaste, so I recommend Crest because they helped me, have toothpaste. Maybe even, give me some money. Maybe they helped me with my get some office equipment. Who knows? Whatever. But it might not be that. You don't have to suspect some sort of muckering going on there. Just asking 10 dentists isn't an indicator of all dentists across the board. Out of 10,000 dentists polled, how many are in favor of your company now? Because compared to others, if you're really the same, it's going to be a tie. And so you're making your numbers seem better by leaving out important information, by not polling enough people. You need two things for a poll to matter. You need a lot of people, or you need to show that a trend is in effect. And in the case of where it's an advertisement, like however many people were polled, we want to know who those people are. We want to know who took that poll. We want a lot of other questions answered. In this case, we know public policy polling took the poll at the polls about polling. Or something like that, right? So we know who did the poll. We know how many people were involved, and we know what the margins of errors are, which is very, very low, and that's great. And that margin of error will probably go up as you get more people polled, but nonetheless, we need more people polled because we need to either show a trend or have a significant amount of numbers of people, and we don't have either of those. So although it's interesting, and although it's scary to some degree that at least 200 people out there are in favor of this, that doesn't tell me that all Republicans are in favor of this. It doesn't even hint at that. And the people that are reporting this as if that's the case are doing a disservice to logic and skepticism by not checking the facts. And we should do better than that. This is Deconverted Man. Until next time, remember, unless and until we have a proper poll, we need to continue to be skeptical of the polling policy placements, please.